Hello everyone, Dana here from Dana's Electrical Services, and in today's video I will be showing you how to measure capacitance. So I have my capacitor right here. This is a 15 microfarad 440 volts AC 50/60 hertz capacitor. This is it right here. It has a tolerance of plus or minus 5% and the operation temperature of minus 40 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. The main thing that you'll need to measure capacitance is a meter that can measure AC voltage and also capacitance. If you have one meter that can measure both, great. If you have to use two separate meters, you're still good. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do, we're not going to waste any time, we're just going to jump right into the video. The first thing that you're going to do is ensure that your capacitor is properly discharged. So this is my capacitor. This is a new capacitor. If it is a new capacitor, more than likely you are good, right? Because they don't sell new capacitors charged. But if your capacitor was already in the circuit, then you need to test if it is charged or discharged, right? So you're gonna go to AC voltage and you're gonna put your terminals across the terminals of the capacitor. Let me set it so you guys can see what is going on. And I get a reading of 0 volts. This means that my capacitor is discharged, right? So I can touch the terminals like this, because if you know anything about capacitors, they do store charge, and if they are charged, if you touch the two terminals, you can get an electric shock. So you have to ensure that the capacitor is fully discharged before you touch the two terminals of the capacitor. So if you test the voltage of your capacitor, right, and you have to ensure that it is the correct range. You have to ensure that the voltmeter that you're using to measure the voltage of the capacitor is in the correct range of the capacitor, right? Good. Okay. If you measure the voltage of your capacitor and you realize that you get a voltage which suggests that it's not discharged, you need to safely discharge your capacitor. There are a few ways to do this. If you might know some people who just do this and use a screwdriver or pliers to make contacts across the 2 points to discharge the capacitor. That does discharge the capacitor, but that's not a safe way to do it, guys. You can use a light bulb or some other load that can manage this voltage and make contacts across the 2 points, and that can safely discharge the capacitor. You can also use a bleeder resistor. If anyone knows what that is, to safely discharge a capacitor. So I am not going to tell anyone to do this. I'm not going to tell anyone to do this because that's not the safe way to do it. But most people, or most experienced people, do it like that. Okay, so you're gonna ensure that you're gonna safely discharge your capacitor, and then you're gonna measure your voltage again to ensure that it is actually discharged, right? You know it is discharged when the voltage is 0 volts and it is AC, so the polarity doesn't matter, right? So after we do that, we're gonna go to capacitance and our meter, right? And then in the same way you measure the voltage by putting the 2 terminals and the capacitor. That's what you'll do, and it will wait a little, and then it will give you the capacitance. As you see here, I'm getting a capacitance of 14 microfarad, right? So 14.86, now it's at 84. It's kind of fluctuating a bit, microfarad, and that's within range because it's plus or minus. There's a tolerance of plus or minus 5%, so that's within tolerance. And this tells me that this is a good capacitor, right? So here you have it, guys. This is how you measure the capacitance of a capacitor. And this was another video brought to you by Dani's Electrical Services. For more videos like these, please feel free to subscribe to my channel at Dani's Electrical Services. Thank you. Thank you.